If the coefficient of x squared is 1, then the polynomial can be factored if the coefficient of x is equal to the sum of the factors of the constant. Now let's take a look at this a little bit further. Let's say we had x minus 3 as one factor and x plus 5 as a second factor. When we multiply these factors, we would get x times x, which is x squared, x times positive 5, which is 5x, negative 3 times x would give us negative 3x, and negative 3 times positive 5 is negative 15. We can combine the like terms here. Positive 5x and negative 3x would give us positive 2x. We know that this can be factored because the coefficient of x, which is positive 2, is equal to the sum of the factors of the constant. The constant is negative 15. So we're looking for factors that have a sum of positive 2, and that would be positive 5 and negative 3. Negative 3 and positive 5 have a product of negative 15, and they have a sum of positive 2. So that is how we know the factors would be x minus 3 times x plus 5. So this is the general process you'll use to factor trinomials where the coefficient of the quadratic term is equal to 1. Not all of these trinomials will be factorable, but you know that the trinomial will be factorable if the coefficient of x is equal to the sum of the factors of the constant. So that's what we'll be looking out for. So let's say you're asked to factor and check the answer for x squared plus x minus 20. The first step is to consider the factors of negative 20 and to find the pair of factors that have a sum equal to the coefficient of x, which in this case would be positive 1. So we start with negative 1 times 20. That would give us a product of negative 20. But when we add those two factors together, we would get negative 1 plus 20, which is equal to positive 19. And that does not equal the coefficient of x, which is positive 1. So that is how we know that these are not the two factors of negative 20 that we are looking for. So then we look at the next pair of factors. That would be negative 2 times positive 10, which would also give us negative 20. When we add those two factors together, we get negative 2 plus 10, which is equal to positive 8. And that does not equal positive 1. So negative 2 and positive 10 are not the factors of negative 20 that we are looking for. We then consider the next pair of factors for negative 20, which would be negative 4 and positive 5. You'll notice that I made all of the smaller factors negative, since when we find the sum is going to be positive. So that lets you know the larger factor of the two is going to be the positive one. But back to these. So we have negative 4 times 5, which gives us negative 20. When we find the sum of these two factors, we get negative 4 plus 5, and that equals positive 1. And that matches the coefficient of x. So now that we found the factors of negative 20, we want to add each of these factors to x inside a pair of parentheses. So we get x minus 4 as one factor, and x plus 5 as the second factor. And these are our factors for x squared plus x minus 20. And as usual, we can check the answer by multiplying the factors, x minus 4 times x plus 5. And if the final polynomial matches the original polynomial, then these are the correct factors. When we multiply them, we get x times x, which is x squared. X times 5 is 5x. Negative 4 times x is negative 4x. 5x minus 4x is equal to x. And negative 4 times 5 is equal to negative 20. So since the final polynomial matches the original polynomial, that lets us know that we found the correct factors. So x minus 4 times x plus 5 is equal to x squared plus x minus 20. So that is how you would go about factoring a trinomial when the coefficient of the quadratic term is equal to 1. Let's now have you try a few practice questions. Question number 1. Factor x squared plus 5x minus 14, and then check the answer. Question number 2. Factor x squared plus x minus 30, and then check the answer. Question number 3. Factor x squared minus 7x plus 12, and then check the answer. Pause the video, answer these 3 questions, and then press play when you are ready to begin. Question number 1, we were given x squared plus 5x minus 14. So we'll start by finding the factors of negative 14 that have a sum of positive 5. Negative 1 times 14 would give us negative 14. But when we find the sum of those two factors, we get negative 1 plus 14, which is positive 13, and that does not equal 5. So these are not the two factors that we are looking for. We'll then go to negative 2 times 7. That also equals negative 14. When we find the sum of these two factors, we get negative 2 plus 7, which is positive 5, which does match the coefficient of our x. So these are the two numbers that we're looking for. And now you add each of these factors to x inside a pair of parentheses, giving us the factors we were looking for, which are x minus 2 and x plus 7. And now to check this answer, we want to multiply the factors to make sure that we get x squared plus 5x minus 14. X times x would give you x squared. X times 7 gives you 7x. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. 7x minus 2x is 5x. Negative 2 times 7 gives you negative 14. And since our final polynomial matches the original polynomial, that confirms that we found the correct factors, x minus 2 and x plus 7. Let's now have a look at question number 2. We were given x squared plus x minus 30. So step 1, find the factors of negative 30 that have a sum of positive 1. We'll start with negative 1 times 30, since that equals negative 30. When we find the sum of these two factors, we get negative 1 plus 30, which is equal to 29, and that does not equal 1, the coefficient of our x. So we then go to negative 2 times 15, which also equals negative 30. But when we find the sum of these two factors, we get negative 2 plus 15, which is positive 13, and that does not equal positive 1. So now we'll take a look at another set of factors that equal negative 30 when you multiply them. Negative 3 times 10. But when we find the sum of these two factors, we get negative 3 plus 10, which is positive 7, and that does not equal positive 1. So then we go to our final set of factors of negative 30, negative 5 times 6. And luckily, when we add them together, we see that we get positive 1, and that does match the coefficient of our x. So negative 5 and positive 6 are the two factors we were looking for. And now we add each of them to x inside a pair of parentheses, giving us x minus 5 and x plus 6. And now to confirm that these are the correct factors, we will multiply the factors to make sure the polynomial we get matches our original polynomial, x squared plus x minus 30. When we multiply the factors, we get x times x, which is x squared. We get x times 6, which is 6x. Negative 5 times x is negative 5x. 6x minus 5x is positive x. Negative 5 times 6 is negative 30. and we see that the final polynomial we get matches the original polynomial, thus confirming that the factors of x squared plus x minus 30 are equal to x minus 5 and x plus 6. Now let's have a look at question number 3. We're given the polynomial x squared minus 7x plus 12. So we want to find the factors of 12 that have a sum of negative 7. So we'll try negative 1 times negative 12, since that equals positive 12. I'm trying negative factors since their sum has to be negative. And two negatives times each other will give you a positive constant. That is why I tried two negatives. And when we find the sum of these two factors, we get negative 1 minus 12, which is negative 13. And that does not match the coefficient of our x, negative 7. So these are not the factors we are looking for. We then try negative 2 times negative 6, since that equals positive 12. But when we add them up, we get negative 2 minus 6, which is negative 8. And that does not equal negative 7. So we need to try two other factors of 12. So we'll try negative 3 times negative 4, which gives us a product of 12. And they give us a sum of negative 3 minus 4, which is negative 7. And that does match the coefficient of our x. So now we can add each of these factors to x inside a pair of parentheses, giving us x minus 3 and x minus 4. And now step 3, check the answer by multiplying the factors, giving us x times x, which is x squared. X times negative 4 is negative 4x. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. And negative 4 minus 3x would give us negative 7x. And negative 3 times negative 4 gives us positive 12. And we see that our final polynomial matches our original polynomial, letting us know that we found the correct factors, x minus 3 and x minus 4.